بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على محمد ومن تبعهم بإحسان يوم الدين. Alhamdulillah, in this video here inshallah we're going to be speaking about علامات الإعراب المثنى. We're going to be speaking about the signs of Iraab for the word that's dual, for the مثنى, the word that dictates or that indicates two things. So first and foremost we need to understand what is meant by علامات الإعراب. علامات الإعراب means the signs of Iraab. الإعراب هو تغيير آخر الكلم لاختلاف العوامل داخلية عليها لفظا أو تقديرا. An I'rab is a change that happens at the end of a word because of the changing of active elements that enter upon it. So the change that happens at the end of the word, يعني محمد becomes محمدin becomes محمدان. Why is this happening? Because it's an active element like inna or fi that's entering the word and that's changing from a dhamma to a fatha to a kasra, يعني from marfu' to mansub or majrurun. So that is what an i'rab is, the change that you see at the end of the word. Now this change that you see at the end of the word sometimes is going to be with the original signs, and sometimes it's going to be with the secondary signs. The original signs are the dhamma for rafa', so for marfu', the fatha for the nasab, the kasra for the jar, and the sukun for the jazm. So Muhammadun, Muhammadan, Muhammadin, lam yadhhab. So these are the original signs that are used for raf, nasb, jar, and jazm. But now there are some words that are going to take secondary signs. So instead of taking the dhamma to show that it's marfu', or the fatha to show it's in the position of nasb, or the kasra to show that it's in the position of jar, or the sukun, but rather it's going to take one of these signs you see here, so one of the secondary signs to show their i'rab, to show their grammatical ending, if you will. So that is what علامات الإعراب is, and there are two different types of علامات الإعراب. Now the مثنى, the dual noun, kitabani for example, it's always going to take one of the secondary signs we're going to cover in a second. So the مثنى, the dual nouns, they never take the original signs of i'rab, but rather they take the secondary signs to show that they're marfu' or mansub or majrurun. What are these signs? They're as follows. So علامات الإعراب, the signs of i'rab for the مثنى, for the rafa' it's a علامات فرعية, it's a secondary sign, which is the alif. So kitabani means two books. Kitabun means one book. Kitabani means two books. Kitabani is marfu'. What's the sign of it being marfu'? This alif that you see here. This alif that you see here. An-nasab, for the nasab, it also takes a علامات فرعية. Instead of taking the fatha, it takes a ya. Inna kitabaini. Kitabaini here is mansub because of inna, which is the active element that's making mansub. And instead of taking the fatha to show that it's mansub, it takes the ya. The jar, it also takes علامات فرعية, secondary sign, which is also the ya. في كتابين means in two books. كتابين here is مجرور because of the active element في, but instead of taking a kasra to show that it's مجرور, it takes a ya. So for the nasb and the jar, the مثنى, it takes the same exact sign, which is a ya. What's going to let you know whether it's mansub or majrurun is the thing that comes before it, whether it's something that makes the word that follows it mansub or majrurun, but its sign itself is the same. The rafa', instead of taking the dhamma, it takes a alif. So if you want to compare this to the singular noun, it looks like this. The singular noun takes the alamat and asliya, it takes the original sign. So the dhamma for the rafa', the fatha for the nasb, and the kasra for the jar. Unlike the dual noun, which takes alamat far'iyya, which always takes secondary sign, which is the alif for the rafa', the ya for the nasb, and the ya also for the jar. So kitabun becomes kitabani. Kitabani means two books. The sign may be marfu' is the alif. Inna kitaban, kitaban means verily the book or verily a book. Inna kitabaini means verily two books, but it's mansubu with a ya. And then fi kitabin becomes fi kitabaini. So those are the signs of i'rab for the dual noun. So I hope this was fairly clear. Jazakallah khair for listening. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.